videos tomorrow.
Awesome.
So
Congratulations.
two big checkpoints there coming this
Yeah.
week, hopefully, in the next few days.
Awesome. Well, on my end, I was actually working on a script for somebody, and we had to revisit kind of like this concept of checking when a user actually selects text and reacting to it. I don't know if any of you have worked with that before. Not copying, so not really confirming if somebody copied something, because we know that we could go ahead and check the clipboard for that. But actually, when they select text,
Do you look for an event that will occur, or
that's
you
what I
want
was
to
trying
check,
to do.
or you want to check if there is some text selected?
That's the point. So I was looking for a way to get if there was an event. I didn't find any. Actually, Windows does not have an event. Well, they do have a, Windows has an event, but it depends on the control that is actually
And is
in
it
the
for
text.
an edit control?
Well, that's the problem. I would like it to work anywhere, but that means that then I have to rely on whether the edit control will send the event or not. So basically, some edit controls will send the event, and some others won't. So what I developed was something that I had already done, that actually checks when you click and drag. And when you let go of the drag, then I go ahead and verify, by copying whatever you have in there and verifying if you actually selected something or not. I don't know if anybody has actually worked with this before, if they have a better solution, but actually that's what I'm working with at the moment.
Well, Jose, why don't you take a step back? Because for some people, you've mentioned a lot of different technologies.
Things, right?
Yeah, exactly. The first thing I said was, hey,
But what I do need to check is, when was the last time that you pressed a hotkey? And what I was doing with that, so when you let go of the mouse, I wanted to verify how long it took since you actually let go of it, because I was calculating if you were double clicking or clicking, or if you were dragging the mouse. And I figured that if you let go of the mouse more than 300 milliseconds, then you were probably dragging. And that's the reason why I don't like this approach, is because I'm guessing that you are dragging. I'm not really sure that you are dragging.
And what if you select with the keyboard?
Right, no, so this doesn't take into consideration selection with the keyboard, which is
Another
one of the issues, right?
issue.
So that's the issue, right? So you have to verify whether, and that's the point. If I had an event, if Windows or the control sent me an event about, the user selected something, then I don't have to figure out whether you mouse dragged or if you moved your keyboard. I would just get the correct result. But in this situation, I'm just checking whether you let go of the mouse, whether it has been 300 milliseconds ago, and then I would, back up the clipboard, because I'm going to be working with it, delete it, send a copy, wait for it, and then if the clipboard contains some things, then go ahead and do some actions or not.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
What happens is this way of figuring out whether you have something selected or not, for me, it's not really reliable, but it works. So when I go ahead and run this script, so let me just go ahead and run it real quick.
Can you actually zoom in a little bit?
I'm sorry?
I was saying, can you zoom in a little bit? It's hard to see on YouTube.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, you're saying it's not reliable, but it works. I'm like, wait a minute.
Sometimes it works.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So it works, but as a programmer, I cannot guarantee but I cannot guarantee that it will work 100% of the time.
No,
and when
is 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, well, there's some things that if I get a notification that you selected text, and I rely on that, and I know that is text selected, I would say like that is more reliable than.
Yes.
That is more reliable than what I'm doing right here.
And the solution you're looking for is for any application, or can it be restricted to the edit control like Notepad or things like that?
No,
because there would be a good There would be a solution with the edit control where there's not an event, but you can check if text is selected, and you could check this every 100 milliseconds or as you wish. But it would only check for these. But regardless, if it is selected with the mouse or the keyboard, it would be a good solution if it was only for the edit control.
Now, I do understand what your solution is, and basically that's the reason why I mentioned, like, yeah, it depends on the edit control, right? So right now...
But Isaias, because this is what I don't think you clarified earlier, at least it wasn't clear to me when you said it. And granted, I was, not paying 100% focus, but when you say that, what I don't think you're stipulating is, which also means you're relying on that program that has the edit control to be reliably, talking to Windows, right?
Yes.
And that's what I think is just a little distinction of like, hey, maybe you can do it for Word or for Notepad, but there's
yeah, exactly. Right? So right now, for example, Word has its own COM object, which means that if I really needed to confirm whether something was selected or not in Word, is extremely reliable, and it is simple because I have a way to check whether there's selection or not. I would do the same with an edit control. A normal edit control has this get selection message that you can send it, and it would tell me whether there's a selection or not. But if I go to Chrome, for example, well, Chrome is not an edit control, and you can select text in Chrome, and it will not send a notification to the browser that you selected something. So then my script would stop working right there. That's the reason why then I had to do something else. And right now, let me go ahead and show you something real quick. So I have the debug control here. So if I go ahead and select some text, you will notice that it will show up down here, right? Because I'm having my script, as soon as you let go of the mouse, go ahead and output debug whatever you have selected. And that's the way how I actually kind of like check. I know that my script is actually working because it doesn't matter what I select, it would go ahead and put it here. It doesn't matter where I'm at. So if I'm in Word, or if I go ahead and do it in another, for example, in Chrome or something, as soon as I select any type of text, I know that the script is going to try to kind of like output it here on my output debug window because it's copying it. And what it's doing is that if it finds a specific characters, it would actually show a tooltip saying that it found a law when I selected that, because it is actually actively checking for those things. If you do select something that it doesn't have that, it will not go ahead and show you that tooltip. So basically my script is reacting to whether whatever is selected. And again, that's what I have been working on right now. I do find that the solution right now, as I mentioned, works. And you saw it that it was working, but I wouldn't really be saying, oh, it's 100% reliable. For practical purposes, yes, it is reliable.
If it's an application for a custom use by one user or a few users, your solution could be good, even if sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah. Not the same thing if you do something for a large audience, and
that's where
you tell the user when you select with the mouse it works. If you select with the keyboard, it will not. No, so the user is aware and will take this in consideration.
Well, I also wanted to bring up is this is client work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We're getting paid by the hour in this job to solve this thing. So we want something that's robust, but at the same time we can't just sit here and spend forever on this because it's really up to the client to decide what makes
whether that's enough, right? Is that
good enough?
Good enough,
yeah.
Another important thing
works enough.
But I think more importantly, works enough for beta version, right? Like we can plan to say, let's create a tool that we give them, they try. If he sees that actually people have interest and they're going to be willing to use it, and either pay money or however he's doing it, and says it's worth spending more time and effort on to nail it down better.
Make it better, right?
We just can't. This is one of the things a lot of programmers get caught up in. I'm going to keep going and going and going and digging until I find the ideal solution. But that's when you get either very angry clients or very angry bosses. That's someone's paying the bill, right? So, just to keep in mind for everyone of like, it's an important thing to understand the trade-offs that you need to take into account on things you're working on.
Yeah, so long as you're working on a personal project and it is just this, you just go ahead and make it as perfect as you want. But when you're working for, like for somebody else, they might usually need the code at a specific certain time,
Well, and again, if they're paying by the hour, right?
Yeah.
You gotta get them to sign off on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of diminishing returns, right, of how much work.
Exactly.
So, anyone else got something they're working on, something they're stuck on, want some help
Any
with?
questions?
You asked it. You asked for it.
I wasn't talking to you, guy. What you got?
I had one come up on my chat just now.
Is it quick or quick
Yeah,
order?
it's very easy. He just wants to know how to open an incognito. Thank you. I can't talk sometimes. Incognito mode. I'm guessing with Chrome and auto search. Basically, just do a run command. I think it's just run chrome.exe, and then for shift, what is it? Control Shift in. So you just do send Control Shift in, and that will automatically open.
You can just feed to it, I believe. It's been a long time, but I thought you can put a command line parameter into that.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, that part I don't know. I know worst case you can just do send
Oh, I'm pretty
Control
sure
Shift in, and then just do another send for the URL.
Yeah, and let's, before we figure it out, let's break down exactly the two different approaches, right? One
Yeah.
is we're passing a parameter to that command line, so as long as it's there, man, that's going to work solid, right?
Yeah.
The second one is you do the way Tom's mentioning, it'll launch Chrome, but you have to get your timing right of sending that hotkey, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yes, I'm sharing the screen and there is a command line parameter that you can pass to it, just dash incognito. So that means that you just run chrome.exe dash incognito. That should potentially do what we're looking for. What am I doing here?
Here's
Yeah,
the one way, in case we don't get that.
Yeah, there we go.
And you might even pass a URL if you know where you're going.
Right. So
Yeah.
we could just pass the URL and everything. But as you can see, whenever I click run in here, it will run Chrome in incognito mode. So
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
It
Does
is-
it
it
autofocus
is-
on the URL?
I'm sorry?
Or how do you put the URL in there? Is
yeah,
it just
just
a
Let's do
comment?
another parameter.
Okay.
Maybe it needs HTTPS. Probably. Maybe not.
Let me try it. I think no, you don't need it.
Okay.
The browser automatically knows what you're doing, and it is actually an incognito window, so it knows that it is a URL. So yeah. So this would be the command that you're looking for in AutoHot.
Okay, Guy, what'd you have, man?
Firstly, let me say I loved the offer you had with the with your help, one-to-one help. I think I'll be taking hold of that. So I was away for the last week.
Well, it's 3 times the price for you.
I think
It's
that
a good deal.
yeah, it's a good deal, and it's a balance between commissioning someone and doing stuff yourself, so you can learn as well. Now, the question I have is, I've managed to get a third-party application that reads barcodes called ZBar.
All right.
And I launch it, and I put it within a GUI. But what I can't seem to do is move that or resize that window within the GUI as a child, because the GUI is a parent and the ZBar is a child. Well, I can't seem to resize it once I put it in there.
Can I interrupt you just for a second? In the beginning part, did you need to have this other third part? I mean, isn't there a script that reads in AutoHotkey that reads barcodes straight away?
From the webcam?
From a webcam.
Yes, not from a. I've got a scanner, a barcode scanner, or QR code scanner. I've got one of those, but my application works with people who are running laptops that have a webcam that don't need a scanner, so they just pop the document they have with the QR code around the webcam, and it reads it for them. and it goes away into the database and finds the appropriate client.
Hmm.
So in this particular application, I'm just using the webcam instead of a scanner.
Okay. Now, what I'm thinking, because it doesn't matter if the window is a child window or if it is a parent window, if you have the handle of that window, you should be able to move it around.
Well, I've tried WinMove. I know the process, the exit process. I know the window title.
No,
Well,
but,
it doesn't
but,
work.
but okay, but do you have the handle? Do you have the
Well,
ID?
The problem is once it's inside the parent window, how do I get the handle? And
No.
and how do I use a handle?
No. You would need to get it before you put it in front. Because, hold on, because there's something that I do not understand. You said that you put it as a child of the other window.
Yes.
So if you put it yourself, then it's a window that you created, right?
Well, I created a GUI,
Uh-huh.
and within that GUI, I put that application window in because it's got a live video stream of the webcam.
Oh, right. Oh, no. Okay. So in that case, you would need to get the ID of the application either by the exe name
I have it.
or the window. Now, after you have the handle, then you can use WinMove with a specific parameter that gives you that. So let me go ahead and
Well, I tried to use WinMove both with the win title and the exe name as well, aka underscore exe and the process name. Now, when it's not in the parent window, when it's a window of its own accord, I can move it around the screen and resize it. But the moment it's in the parent, I can't do anything. Now,
no, I think because if you're using the title, then the title is no longer
the same.
no, it cannot be accessed by the title because it is a child window.
Well, I'm using the aka the script name. Now, if I've remove the caption from that window, does that actually kill it?
Let's do this. Let's get the ID. So basically, let's get the handle because I'm pretty sure that if you have the handle, you could do that anyway.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do can you show me your code, please?
Yeah, sure. Share screen. And if you give me a minute, I'll just make sure there's nothing in the background that is private. No, that works. Okay. Awesome. Now I'm ready to share my screen. Share screen. Now you should see my CRM with a blank something or other at the top. I hit the button. Up comes the GUI. Within the GUI, there is the window for the third-party application.
Right.
Now, as you can see, I'm having issues resizing it. And there's a countdown to say, well, actually, I'm going to close it. If you haven't scanned it in 20 seconds, it closes. Yeah. So I've managed.
Now, the code. What I would like to see is the code.
Okay. The code is. Let's find it. Here is the code. So where is the code? Where's the code? Hang on, I think I might have a problem. I think I might have used the same GUI name. So yeah, I think I might have used the same GUI name before, but it doesn't matter because they don't exist at the same time. So here's the code. You press the button, it creates the GUI, and that here.
This is the part that I'm looking for. So there is a part, you are zbar sidekick.bat is the one that is running the script, right?
Correct. That's running
2715, right?
Yep.
Now,
And the script, this is the script here at the bottom. That's the program that runs.
Yeah. But what I'm looking for, we have a win weight for the exe, and actually what you could do there is the part that says win exist. So
Where is
when you get the win exist with that exe name,
Mm-hmm.
let me get the let me just one second.
Is it a function or is it a
No, not a function. We're going to use the win. Well, yeah, it's a function called win exist, and that will return the handle of the window that we're looking for.
okay?
Now, the question is, let me just one second. So let me show you the code here.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing it.
Okay. So look what I'm looking for. So right now I'm using the win exist function here, right?
Yes, yes.
And I'm using the hkexe notepad.exe. So I'm getting the handle. This is when you use the win exist function,
Yep.
you're gonna get
The
here
handle.
in a message box, sorry, in a variable, the handle of that particular window.
Okay.
Now, when you have the handle, then you can do the win move command with hkid, and you're gonna use the handle with the percent signs. And then you put the sizing that you want. Now, here's the thing. As you're using an ID, it doesn't matter what title it has. It doesn't matter if it is inside another window. It shouldn't matter anything like that, because right now, when I run it, I get my message box because I'm message boxing it. But when I click OK, you notice that the window gets resized. Do you see that?
Okay.
So I can use the handle of a window to use other commands like winmove or winhide or something. But when you do that, then it shouldn't matter if it is a child window or a parent window, then it shouldn't matter at all. So this is the part that I need you to add on your script, which is the win exist to get the handle.
Got it. Got it.
The
I've done it.
winmove, then you should use the handle and try that. Let's see if that works out.
Okay. Now, another question for you. When you're playing around with window, can you automatically center windows or send them to the corners without writing code that finds out the size of the window and analyzes it and all this kind of stuff? Is there any functionality that's automatic?
I didn't quite catch that
So,
question. I didn't
I've got
understand. So you want to move it without checking the size first?
I've got a GUI. I want to put this new window smack bang in the center of it. Is there a way, a command, like, you put the X and Y axis and then you move to do that for you? Is there any functionality? Or do I have to write my own code to work out the windows and resize them?
Well, you know what? Now I understand what you mean. So on the parent window, you have the sizing and you want to put a child window in the center of it.
Yes.
I remember that the GUI show command, well, when I was working with those things a while back, we didn't have that. So you would have to calculate it yourself, like the half of the window minus the whatever. But if I remember correctly, there was an update for the show command that allowed you to center the window, but with the screen, centering to the screen.
Okay, that's
But
centering
I'm
to
not,
the screen,
but
not
I'm not
centering to the
really
GUI.
sure. Let me double check. Hold on. Here we go. So yes, let me show you the new updates in AutoHotkey version 1, at least, or in version 2, of course. You can specify when you're using the show command, we show.
Yep.
In the options, you can specify center,
Okay.
and you can specify X and Y center. So
Okay.
you could horizontally center it and not vertically. You can do
Yeah.
that. The only thing that I don't know is if that is actually on the screen only, because I see here that says vertically on the screen. I do not know if that would work with the parent or child relationship there.
Well, if I use the coordinate mode, can I change the coordinate mode to affect whether it looks at the screen or the window?
Yes, but what I'm saying is that the GUI show command, the center option, I don't know if that's related to a parent window or not. I think that's related to the screen in general.
I'll chime this much in just because I've seen both Jose's, but Maestria do a crazy amount of stuff with GUIs. The stuff you're describing is pretty much why he built like the stuff in the HTML GUI stuff, because you just have far more control and it's much easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
To do some of this stuff.
Okay.
That's right.
So
Questions?
no, that's perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Jose, I sent you a file in Telegram that someone submitted.
Let's double check on that. And what is the question with this time?
Well, he commented it at the beginning.
Okay. Let's check. Okay, let me show this one real quick.
This is where, I mean, he had commented on Facebook the other day and was looking for doing something very specific. And I mentioned QAT is, a great tool for some of this stuff, but it's slightly different what he's trying to do.
Okay.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a tooltip here.
You
We
want to
are.
explain what you're doing?
All right. Oh, so that's the person who. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure you can hear. So yeah, the whole thing is, of course we want to memorize the hotkeys and use those hotkeys, hot strings to be quick, but it gets a little unreasonable whenever we're trying to remember hundreds or thousands of these things when you're working across multiple programs. I mean, everything's got stuff that's built in, right? And of course, we want to
Yeah.
use the native stuff. And so what I was looking at was making a nice little GUI where the user could populate the things that they want to be able to search through, right? And so we remember the things like, Control B, Control, for common things, right?
Right.
But then there's all those hidden gems that it would be easier to go ahead and just search in like a launchy type box or a Omni box or Spotlight if you're used to a Mac, where you could just punch in a keyword, right? And it would filter that, you hit it, it would enter that code for you and execute it in the program. But it's also going to give you maybe a little splash text or a tooltip or something to say, hey, next time maybe you remember what this is, right? So
Right. Yeah.
and there's there's a lot of those things where rather than going up to the menu and searching for it or whatever, if we could
Yes.
just do this very quickly, it just seems like a really nice way to learn those things, or again, just things that we don't use all that often as well, right?
Yeah.
And so I had seen that you guys had put together a lot of really nice tools, and Joe had shared the one where you could search through all the running hot strings and hotkeys and all
Yeah.
that. But that's, I'm also trying to keep this in mind for somebody that really maybe you're trying to introduce them to auto hotkey, right? And it's like, okay, well, I need to make it as easy as possible for them to embrace the tech and then move on, right? Just give them a little taste. Oh yeah, it can be easy, right? And then they, maybe they'll say, all right, yeah, I'll try a little bit more, right? And
Right.
so this was
Now, let me pause there for a second. So what I'm understanding here, you have 3 issues, right? Now,
so far.
right? Yeah. That's until you start sharing it and stuff. So now, one of the things is that you're doing is that you're looping through all the active windows. Is that what you're doing?
So I just actually picked this up like 20 minutes before the call,
Right.
where I saw somebody, this was their solution to finding whatever the current active window would be, in this case Word, saving that, and then when you would, search the box and execute the code, it was supposed to go back and reactivate that original one. So yeah, it looks like it's looping through. There's probably a much better way to do it.
I was gonna say, because we could get the window active, no? So let me double check something because active, if you use the Win active by itself without any options, I think it would be, hold on. No.
This sounds very familiar. Was I talking to you the other day?
You got it.
Okay.
I reached out to the group.
I was like, this sounds like an email I have.
Yeah, I think we did
Right.
Discord.
Yeah.
So there's
Or Discord,
I
yeah.
reached
Here we
out to
go,
the
here we go,
group.
here we go, here we go. Yeah. So this is the thing. We could get what the active window is by using this function instead. So this would tell me what the active window was. So instead of looping through all the windows, I could just use the WinExist with the letter A, and that would give me the handle. And this is actually the same function that I was speaking about a few seconds ago. It would give me the handle of the currently active window, and later on I could just use Win activate, to get it back on. Now, what is the issue that you're getting? Because you say that you have an issue saying the save window sometimes doesn't refocus as expected. So it doesn't activate the correct window. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what it was.
All right. So probably the loop is getting the wrong information. So what we can do is actually, hold on. Save the current windows to refocus first with execution later. So what we're going to do, instead of using the save window function here, what we're going to do is just do the something. Sorry. We're going to do that. Active. So we're going to get the currently active window. And later on, when you are done, now I'm noticing, so hold on. This code right here does not have a return here, so I'm going to add it. It should, because you're now defining a function down here that has nothing to do with this code. So this is where it starts, unless you want to run the escape automatically. Is that what you're doing? So when you press Shift F12, does it go ahead and also submits the GUI here or destroys it or not?
Yeah, yes, it does it all at once. So it,
Okay, so
it
what I'm
opens up
going
the
to do,
box, you enter it in, it searches, and
so
as soon as you
let me-
hit enter, it will execute the code.
okay, so I'm putting the combo box function outside of the return so that it makes a little bit more sense what is going on, because that function gets read once when the script starts and it never gets executed again unless you call it. Now, let me double check where you're calling it. You're calling it up here. So good. So you get the current window, then you create your combo box, right? Then you select what it is, and then where is it that you activate the window again? When do you activate the window again? You say that sometimes it grabs a different window, right?
Right.
But I do not see any oh, here, Win activate. Hold on. Yeah, this loop, I'm not really sure what it's doing. So it's getting the window title, it's getting the process ID, it's getting the class, and you're getting the win number. So if the window, so you're adding up numbers in here. And as soon as it finds one of them, then it goes out and activates it. Is that what it does? But how did you know what was the previous one? That is simply activating whatever is active already.
Right. Yeah, I think you probably had it figured out as, like I said,
Right.
this is something I grabbed like 20 minutes before the call, just I was
Right.
still
No,
working on
don't
the
worry.
script. So
Don't
I wouldn't-
worry. So what we're going to
Yeah.
do is just this. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, and we will see if this works. We're going to grab the handle of the active window, And after you finish, because I think this is where you finish up doing your stuff. So you show your combo box, you do the stuff here, you show the tooltip, and then you destroy the combo box window, right? Right there, then what I'm gonna do is win activate, and the win title that I'm gonna use is HK ID, and we're gonna use this ID, and that should do it. So after, first I grab what the active window was, then I create my window, and I would show everything and then reactivate the window that was active before. But there is another solution to this. The other solution is to show the GUI without activating it. You can, there is an option, and I think it's the combo box here. You see the GUI show? You can use the no activate option or no active.
That
You
might
see
be
that?
the easy solution.
I think because it would show it, and when it goes away, the other window will stay active because this one never activated anything.
I like it.
Right, so let's try that first. There is two options on that. You have to be careful with this because there are two options. One of them is the no active, as I showed a second ago. The no activate, this is, it unminimizes or shows the window if necessary, right? And it also shows the window without activating. And NA shows the window without activating, but if the window is minimized, it will stay that way, but it will probably hide the Z order. So I would say, let's go with no activate first, okay? If that gives you some unwanted things, like for example, the window maximizes, but you don't want that, then try NA. They both show the window without activating it, but one of them does a little bit of a trickery to maintain the window as it was previous to this. But I see that you destroy the window, so that doesn't matter that much. So let's go with no activate. Let's comment out this code in here and this code in here. I'm just gonna comment it out because probably if the other method doesn't work as you want, then you have the code already here for activating the previous window. But I think you will not need it. Just with no activate down here, that should do that should fix it for you. Now escaping causes to show the tooltip the last saved. So when you press escape, it should just destroy the window.
Right, but it's part of the auto combo box where it is saving the last when you look at that function. And I kept breaking it when I tried to edit it out.
Right here, you mean?
Keep going for the function. Right, that. So I can tell in there that it's got some statements for saving, but it's not quite what I want, right? I mean, when I escape, I don't want it to save the last one.
Let me double check what the script does first, because I'm not really sure I understand what's going on. So I'm running the script right now. I do have a shift. You told me a shift F12, right? Okay. Oh, you see, that's what I meant. So the window got shown, but it was not activated, so it was not shown on top of the other ones. You see? So that is part of what the options would do, but I could add the always on top probably. So when I create the GUI plus always on top, that might help on that. This is the window box, but I want the other one. Where is it? So Shift F12 goes ahead and opens combo box, which in turn is always on top. Oh, that is interesting. Let me try something. There will be some top things, but I do not want to have to. Okay, so in any case, it looks like if I use the no activate, it will not bring it forward, which is not what we want. And basically, that's probably where this other code comes in handy, which is the one that I gave you prior to this. So I just got here. So F12, okay, Shift F12. I got it, and if I hit escape, I should, yeah, okay. But you notice that then it actually gave me some, it brought back my main window. Now, here's the thing, what was that message box all about?
If you scroll up to the top, that's where if you hit escape rather than making a selection, the very last if is the message box. Escape was probably hit, right?
Oh, this one here, okay. Now, let me tell you something. This message box is removing hold on. It's taking away the focus of whatever you're doing. So let me just 1 second. It showed me when I click, it removes the focus of this. It's like, oh, you have a sleep in there. Okay.
Well, the thought is just do as a tooltip rather than the message bar.
Right. Right. I would definitely go with a tooltip instead. Tooltip. Escape building. It doesn't match. And I would actually do that for later. So let's keep it like that for now. Let me try it. Keep it 12 escape. There it is. Enter escape. Now I'm going to tell you something about this sleep right here. Whenever you use this type of code, the script is going to kind of like freeze completely. So probably a set timer is better instead of sleeping. But that is going to be for later. But in any case, I don't know. It depends. However you want. If I don't have the, let me do this. If I don't have that, the message box is okay. Let me just put this in here. Stop it. If I have the message box and I hit OK, I will go back to my main screen. So it is working fine. It's the sleep that removes the focus away. So this focus here, I'm just going to probably set a timer. So let me just set timer. That's going to be tooltip off. Let me just say tooltip off. And the period is going to be minus, I don't know. What was the timing that you have? 2000.
You've got it. The duration. Can't use that as a
Yeah, I
variable.
could use that. Yeah, I can use that.
But
and
minus
then-
in front of it.
Yep. So now I will just use this as a label that then will just do the tooltip. That's right. That will turn it off. But the thing with this is that it will not lock your script anymore. So when it sets the timer, it will wait 2,000 milliseconds, and it would just go ahead and turn it off automatically. So keep it 12 using the message box, but now I'm still able to move around, and it would show up any tooltip. So that fixes that. So I already have the part that it was not refocused correctly has been fixed. So that's good. Now the escaping the tooltip showed the last save. So now let's go ahead and verify what we mean by that. So
Surely the message box should be changed to tooltip. Is that correct? Line 32.
I'm going to keep it as a message box. If you want it later, then we do that. Now, here's the thing. If I select the gold, right, it would give me what it was, okay? And it should go away in 2 seconds, I would assume. It didn't. So it seems that the tooltip is not actually double check something.
Yes, it's working.
Right, so it is because of this thing doesn't get, doesn't matter, we'll figure that one out.
Yeah, I could do that on my own. Don't worry about that.
Right, so don't worry, the point is that when you have a timer like this, then the tooltip is gonna go off, but you can still click on your screen, which when you have it as you did, it was kind of like blocking it.
I put a link in the chat, both chats, on the how to avoid a long sleep as well, Jose.
Right, yeah, we were talking about that, yeah. So in any case, what I'm looking at now, so if I select bold, I remove it, right? And now I press Shift F12 again.
I was gonna say, what happens if you just hit escape? Does it reload the previous one, right? After you load it, Shift F12 and then
Shift F12 and then escape.
correct.
All right, okay, so what happens here is that the value here, entry,
That's saved in that autocomplete.
right, exactly, but here's the thing. This is the combo box that is doing that, right?
Yeah.
So let me just 1 second. Did you destroy the window? Is that what you're doing? Let me double check. Yeah, you destroyed it.
I find that when you use a combo box, if you don't set the variable as something before the combo box and you don't make an entry, it remains whatever it was before it went into the combo box.
Right.
So
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should set a default blank.
yes, I would say
So,
I would say
let me just 1
entry
second.
equals something like, double quote,
Yeah.
not set a default with the double pipes, but just give that variable entry a value before
Right.
you set the combo box.
But here's the thing. What is going on here is that this choice is a static variable because you have it set as static, right, for this GUI to work.
Okay.
Now, this variable, when you call the function again, already has a value. So what we just have to do is to set it up to blank,
There you go.
right? But the problem here is, yeah, we just have to set it blank every time you call the combo box. So you're making that particular variable not static.
Right. I get it.
Right. So the reason for that is because you're creating a GUI inside a function, and it actually how do I say, it makes it so that it forces you to use either global or static for the variables, right? But you don't want it to be static. That's what is going on. So I think right now, if I go ahead and reload the script, do F12, select bold, escape, it goes away. I select that again and I hit escape with nothing. I shouldn't get anything. See that? So that is fixed too, right? And then the option 2 for matching the fields seems better.
Right. Yes. So yeah, and at the very bottom is there you go, option 2, right? And right there in the middle, about where you are, the choice A index. Man, I have that working where I'm not using the combo box function, but when I'm using that combo box function, I'm sure I'm just referring to something incorrectly here, because that code works in a different script. But again, I think it's because I'm in a combo box function.
Because because this GUI is being created inside a function. So if you're trying to access the variable choice, you won't be able to. Because that variable is now part of this function, and nothing outside of that function can actually access it. That's the reason why it is really, I do not find the need to have a GUI that is inside a function, except in very certain situations. But in your case, I don't think it is really needed, because you can make it so that when you press F12, it creates the GUI. So you don't need really the combo box function itself. If you take this out of the function, then the second option, the second way of you doing it works just fine. But I'm not really sure why you need to do this. Why do you need to?
Oh, well, it seemed like it would be a whole lot easier rather than having to create a manual list with the pipes. You know, if I could sit there and loop through something, it seemed like a better option to do it.
Well, yeah. So long as so long as that is both options are totally fine.
Yeah.
I would personally go with this one because it gives me a little bit more control. Because if I want something pre-selected, then I put a second pipe, and that's
Okay.
it. Right.
Okay.
So if you're looping, then it is going to be a little bit more difficult to do that. But
Right.
both options are just fine, whatever you prefer. But if you want to use the second option, then you could not have a function with the GUI. That's what's
Yeah.
going on. So I'm going to send you the code.
Awesome.
Let me go ahead and verify. Let me save it and just resend it. We can send it via chat here, right?
Sure.
I think I can send it on Zoom's chat.
Why don't you just give it to me? I'll make it a guest.
Okay.
Just because there might be other people that want it, but that's all. They're not on Zoom necessarily. So.
Okay. So I'm going to drop the files here.
Yeah, the reason I had gone with the autocomplete combo box function was just because, you know, autocomplete seemed like a nice feature in there to do it.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
And you can narrow it down because I know there's the options where you can, you know, you can
Yeah.
display that list, right? And then you can see as you're sorting through. So
Right.
awesome. Appreciate it.
So in general, just to recap, just for anybody who was following along, if you are trying to show a GUI, you have the option of selecting the option No Activate, which would make it so that it doesn't interfere with your previous window. But sometimes, as you just saw, it makes it so that it doesn't get on top of the other windows, which we needed because we want it to be shown right away. And for some reason, always on top didn't work. So the other solution is to grab the handle of the active window by using the WinExist function. Let me show that again. So if you use the WinExist function, you can get the handle of the currently active window before you do anything else. And then later on, what we did is that then we just activated it by using the AHKID functionality, this option that allows me to work on a handle, window handle. And that's how then I was able to do whatever I wanted to do, and in the end, just reactivate whatever window I had active before my script was doing anything. So that's something to keep in mind.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thanks everyone. We got to switch over to the office hours. Thank you all for being here. If you're interested, like I said, the Heroes thing is still on sale for now. Yeah, but, that's all.
The link is in your email, your previous email, I take it.
It's in a lot of places. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Talk to you later.
Nice seeing everybody.
Thank you.
Peace out. Alrighty. So we are live every Friday, 11 a.m. That is Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, convert it yourself because I don't know where you all live. But yeah, we're here every Friday unless it's like a holiday that day. We might not be, but we'll always let you know ahead of time. Yeah. Can't really think of anything. I'm going to hit 2,000 subscribers hopefully in the next few days. So if you guys have some friends that might be interested in this kind of stuff, I don't just do auto hotkeys all the time. I kind of branch out from time to time for other videos. I never really go into depth like NIM, JavaScript, HTML I've done, you know, some stuff like that. I'll usually do a few videos on those. And the reason I don't go in depth is because, you know, my channel is like 90% auto hotkeys, but eventually you might want to be like me and other people who want to branch out. So I'll do a few intro videos to other languages just so you can kind of get an idea of maybe where you want to go next, or, you know, even build off what you already know. and still pretty much do with automation. I also have some videos where I've done like stuff that doesn't even have to do coding, like built-in hotkeys that's in Windows. You know, I did a video recently. It's like I think it was like 15 was the number. It's hard to keep track of all the videos now. 15 hotkeys built into Windows that you should know. A lot of them are pretty basic stuff, but you'd be surprised. You know, a lot of people I've worked with don't even know that you can do Control-C or Control-V for copy and paste. So there's a few in there that are pretty cool. So I do other videos too that just make your day a little bit easier. Alright, hope to see you guys next Friday at 11 a.m. And I got a video coming out tomorrow that is, I'm surprised I've never done a video on this, but Intro to Arrays, Part 1. So excited for that. I can't believe I've never actually done a video on arrays. I completely overlooked that. So yeah, that's a whole new series coming out. See you guys.